Welcome to the show. The majority of Americans do not believe that Jeffrey Epstein died in jail. We're going to take a deep dive on this. Who's at fault for California's high energy costs? Instead of reparations, what do Black Americans need to do to build wealth? And California Governor Gavin Newsom is this close to advocating the repeal of the Second Amendment. Easy to say when you are surrounded by armed bodyguards. Be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and scroll down and join our mailing list because, believe it or not, from time to time, YouTube, for whatever reason, has issues with our vids. To make sure you don't miss any of our videos, get on our mailing list. And you see that big donate button? Hit that, throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure that we can continue to give you hard-hitting, honest programming. Remember, Larry with epoch.com, Larry with epoch.com. Boy, do we have a great show today. But first, I know you guys are liking these giveaways, and this time it's going to be the best one yet. Are you ready? For this giveaway, I want to invite you to join me for dinner at one of my favorite restaurants. That's right, you heard me right. Fine dining with the great Eldersky. We can talk about anything you want, and I'll answer all your questions. Well, mostly all your questions. It'll be a great time for sure, so hurry up and go to winlarry.com to sign up. I'll be announcing the winner live on February 22nd, so make sure to stay tuned. And last but not least, a big thank you to everybody who joined the giveaway for this mug. You better use it every time you watch my show. Now for today's episode. Racializing the death of a Black man by the police. It became national, indeed international news that 5 Memphis police officers grabbed, beat, punched, pepper sprayed, and tased a Black suspect named Tyre Nichols, who later died at the hospital. A picture of him in his hospital bed showing his swollen, battered, and bloodied face went viral on social media. Nobody but nobody is justifying this beatdown of a slender suspect at the hands of 5 rather burly police officers. Nobody. Ben Crump, who has become the go-to attorney in instances of allegations of police brutality, says this is clearly an example of anti-Black and anti-brown police misconduct.
The prayer that I believe Ms. Wells is articulating is that this won't have to happen to other young Black and brown children. We don't have to learn so many hashtags down limit. I don't have to keep talking to you on CNN week after every other week about yet another unarmed Black person has been killed by police in a highly controversial manner. Hopefully, this institutional police culture that says it's okay to engage in excessive force against Black and brown people will finally be dealt with. We won't continue to try to say that, oh, it's training. They can de-escalate just fine when it's white citizens. We see that all the time, but it's when it's Black and brown citizens, no matter if the police are Black, Hispanic, or white, they seem to do the most down limit. And so this is the blueprint from now. You know, Memphis Police Department terminated them immediately. The DA brought charges within 20 days. Now, when it's not Black officers, we want to see the same type of justice.
Mm-hmm. Really? So this is about anti-Black, anti-brown police brutality? Is that true? Now, the city police chief, a Black female, said she was disgusted.
Well, I expected serious charges. I really did. Actually, the charges that were placed, or at least the administrative charges, were probably the most severe that I've seen in my career. But they were absolutely appropriate, and I knew that the next step would be in the hands of the DA's office, so I am not surprised.
The cops were all fired, all faced second-degree murder charges, and Mr. Crump, on behalf of Tyre Nichols' family, has filed a $50 million civil suit. The body cam video, as well as video from an outdoor camera, have been released. Apparently, no video exists of the traffic stop at the beginning of Nichols' encounter with the police.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Okay. Tase y'all! All right, I'm on the ground. Lay down! Lay down! Chest up, chest down! Please tase me! I'm going to tase you! Get on the ground! Lay down! One! Now! I'm tasing! All right, okay, all right.
The video goes on to show officers eventually used a taser on Nichols. He then ran from the officers. The police department released 4 different videos. Another video shows the scene playing out from a street camera. From that perspective, you can see the officers punching and kicking him. In some of the videos, you actually hear Nichols yell for his mother. Nichols' mom spoke about the incident earlier today, where she expressed heartache.
No mother, no mother, no mother should go through what I'm going through right now.
Nichols' mom, at a press conference arranged by Mr. Crump, said, "I hate the fact that us as black people, we're out here killing each other. I don't know why."
I hate the fact that us as black people, we're out here killing each other.
That's right.
For what?
Come on.
I don't know why.
That's right. The 5 cops facing charges of second-degree murder are all black. But not to worry, it still did not take long for Democrats and the Democrat media to racialize the issue. Few things are more creative than a Democrat playing the race card. Barack and Michelle Obama called this a quote-unquote painful reminder of America's cop problem. The new mayor of LA, a black female, said in an interview, "Even with the black officers, I wonder how they would have reacted if this was a young white person."
And I'm curious, what do you make of the fact that the officers who did this were all black?
Well, I think that many of the incidences we have seen have had a racial motive to them. Obviously, this did not. But even with the black officers, I wonder how they would have reacted if it was a young white person. And so, you know, we have a problem with policing in our country. Many, many times it's racial, but not always. And you will have African Americans that will tell you pretty frequently that sometimes they have difficulty, regardless of the race of the officer, that it is a problem that is fundamental to policing in America.
Nope, the white reporter did not push back, raised no objections. Watch again.
And I'm curious, what do you make of the fact that the officers who did this were all black?
Well, I think that many of the incidences we have seen have had a racial motive to them. Obviously, this did not. But even with the black officers, I wonder how they would have reacted if it was a young white person. And so, you know, we have a problem with policing in our country. Many, many times it's racial, but not always. And you will have African Americans that will tell you pretty frequently that sometimes they have difficulty, regardless of the race of the officer, that it is a problem that is fundamental to policing in America.
By not pushing back, by not raising any objections, this makes the quote-unquote journalist and his media colleagues part of the problem by allowing such incendiary comments to go unchecked. Now, playing from the same sheet music, Reverend Al said, Tyre Nichols' death is an outrage and race is still involved.
This is an outrage. And race still is involved, Joe, as you and I spoke about on the phone. Because I don't believe those 5 cops would have done that to a young white on a traffic stop.